All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of TooTallToby's 3D CAD Speed Modeling Tournament. How are we doing? A little full screen action there just for a moment for everybody. And we are now in the appropriate layout. Of course, as always, please let me know if anything sounds out of line. For me, this audio sounds a little high, so I'm going to just bump this down a little more and say welcome to everybody. Welcome to TooTallToby's Speed Modeling Tournament 2022. I'm so excited to be here. 2 weeks in a row. We did it. We got back here for a second week of this madness. So, very excited to see everybody. I'm having a fun time reading the chat and engaging with the chat, but also excited to introduce our very special co-commentator today, none other than James Letson. He is the head of the Altec Birmingham SWUG, the SolidWorks Users Group. He's a certified SolidWorks associate. He's from Alabama. James, how are you doing today? He's probably doing good. We're going to find out in just a second. How you doing, James? I told everybody to mute before we got started. I got a feeling maybe he took that advice to heart. Although, you know what? Wait a second. I'm like on fire today for screwing up my settings, so maybe I'm screwing this one up too. Let's try again. James, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Toby. Can you hear me?
Oh, man, you sound great.
Yeah, I've been talking the whole time.
You know what? This was my fault as well. So I'm now 0 for 2 as far as screw ups. So first there was that weird sound thing in the beginning where we were getting the doubled sound from the music, and now we managed to mute you. So let's see. Maybe.
No, you're doing great.
Yeah,
you're doing great.
I like getting these things out of the way early. You know, you have bad luck early, and then you have good luck later. That's what I like.
Sir.
That's the cycle that I can enjoy. So welcome. Thanks so much for joining us.
Man, I'm happy to be here. I appreciate the invite.
How's everything going in Alabama today?
It's a little gloomy today. Hopefully it won't be too hot. Hoping to mow some grass this afternoon.
Well, we got people here from all over the world. You know, I'm up here in Pennsylvania. You're in Alabama. Maybe we could ask the chat. Let us know where you are from. Deepak says, "Dear sir, I am so excited." Yes, I am so excited as well. So let us know in the chat where you're from. James, what time is it down there in Alabama?
It is right after 10:03.
10:03, okay. Well, it is tournament time here in Pennsylvania, so let's get going with this tournament. Today is Saturday, August 20th. We got 4 runners today. Neil Custard from the United States representing the SolidWorks software. I shouldn't say representing, but using the SolidWorks software. Rafi Rahman from Bangladesh, also using SolidWorks. We got Tom Smith from the United States using SolidWorks. And we got Smart Colombian from the United States using Onshape. So this is our first matchup where we have actual CAD versus CAD, 2 different CAD systems. I am very excited to see what goes down with this showdown. And go ahead, James. Sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm excited too. I don't think I don't know if I've seen any other 3D modeling software, to be honest, and let alone used it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's kind of one of the cool things about this tournament is that it lets not only you, but I'm sure a lot of people see other CAD systems. Maybe they only ever use their CAD system, and so this gives them a chance to see the similarities and differences between other solutions that are out there. So very excited to see how this all goes down. So let's talk about the tournament. You know, the tournament statistics are we have 32 runners and 10 on the waiting list. So the registration is now officially closed. There's 12 different countries that are being represented in this tournament, and there are 5 different CAD systems that have registered so far. I know I said the waiting list, that the registration is closed, but sometimes we have people that drop out, and so that's why we go to the waiting list and we ask those people to maybe join us. In fact, that's actually what happened this week. So very excited to see that some of these systems are working out. Last week, we had an epic showdown in the black bracket between Dr. Beljan and Kong, and unfortunately, Kong fell during that matchup, and fortunately, Dr. Beljan was able to move through. We also saw over in the blue bracket that we had Cam Smith, former winner of this very tournament, who was neck and neck with 5lax the entire matchup. Those were definitely some epic showdowns, but 5lax fell from grace, and Cam was able to move on. So both of those winners are going to be competing again on October 22nd. And next week, we also have an exciting showdown between Victor, who's always very active in the chat, and Tank. He's another user group leader like yourself, James. And they are going to be going against each other using SolidWorks versus SolidWorks. And then we also have MAAZ from Pakistan going against Alnus from the United States. And that is a SolidWorks versus Onshape showdown. So be sure to tune in again next week if you want to see some more of this. But let's move on now. And if you like this kind of stuff, these kinds of like CAD versus CAD showdowns, be sure to support the channel. You can help the channel. Like, the easiest thing you can do is make sure that you like and you subscribe. But you can also get out there and you can share and you can reshare. And to make sure that we can always stay in touch, go to TooTallToby.com and you can sign up for the mailing list. And that way we can stay in touch in the future. And, of course, if you see something that you really like today, feel free to use either Super Thanks or Super Chat. Super Chat is enabled down in the chat today. If you want to send me a special message and maybe send me a couple of bucks to help support this channel and support the tournament, it is always very much appreciated. And so with that, let's talk a little bit about the rules for this tournament, how it works. So we're going to start out with Neil versus Rafi. And these speed modeling challenges are going to have them take a 2D print from the YouTube live stream and turn it into a 3D model on their screen. They're going to calculate the mass, and they're going to enter that mass in the YouTube chat. Now, as far as the rules for this thing go, the tournament rules are that this is going to be a best of 3 matchups. So we're going to see our competitors with some win indicators up in the upper corners. And whenever one of them wins a match, they're going to get a little green light indicating that, you know, they've won the first match. Once you have 2 of those wins, you know, first person to win 2 will be declared the winner, will move on in the tournament to the round of 16. You're also allowed to do 1 wrong answer. You're allowed to submit 1 incorrect answer. So if you enter something in the chat and it is wrong, I will say, I'm sorry, Tom, that is the wrong answer. And then you have 1 more chance to enter your answer in the chat. If you get it wrong a second time, then you're done. And it's basically up to the other person to lose. They have not unlimited time, but it certainly alleviates a lot of the pressure, and they have a chance to go through and check and double check all their dimensions and try to submit the correct answer. So a lot of times what that results in is our competitors will kind of blast through and try to get the answer correct the first time, and then if they get it wrong, they'll kind of take their time a little bit on the second time through. But you're always running up against that other person, so it's definitely a challenge. And let's see here. As far as the chat goes, you guys are the most amazing chat ever. You are more than welcome to play along with. You can take a screen capture yourself. When you take that screen capture, you can try to model the parts yourself, see if maybe you're faster than our experts that are competing today. But do not help them. Do not post the answer in the chat. And don't start chatting and saying like, oh, you're missing this dimension, or, you know, you're missing this radius, or, you know, don't help them if they get stuck. This is really, it's our runners who are the true stars today. And so we want to make sure that we give them a chance to shine, and we give them a chance to kind of figure out their way through this. And it's really meant to be 1 versus 1. So I'll be keeping an eye on the chat for that, but just do me a favor, help me out, and don't help them if they get stuck. Although I will say, I see Nico Concarne is putting some help in the chat. I'm going to allow that. Fully defined every time is always allowed in the chat. So anytime you want to help the competitors by letting them know that they should fully define every time, that's completely allowed. Alrighty, so here's our tournament. Here's what we're looking at today, and we're going to go down and take a look at the red bracket today. So we're down here at the red bracket, August 20th, and our first matchup is between Neil Custard and Rafi Rahman. Neil from the United States and Rafi from Bangladesh. James, have you ever been to Bangladesh?
I have not. I have not been to Bangladesh.
Well, maybe you and I can take a trip there sometime.
Hey, that sounds good.
Okay. I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to run a quick practice match. I think we're going to run a quick practice match here just to give the competitors a chance to kind of get used to the workflow, get used to the logistics of this thing. So I'm going to have Neil and Rafi get ready here. Get ready, and we are going to run a quick practice match. Just give me 1 second. Let me make sure that I have the correct print here for the practice match. I do. And I got the correct part here. All right, excellent. So all systems are good. Let's do a quick practice match here. I'm going to flip over to full screen so you guys can see this thing is in full screen right now. And I'm going to show you guys this print. This is a quick practice This is a quick practice between Neil and Rafi. And so what you're going to do is you're going to, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, go. I'm going to show you this 2D print. You're going to grab the 2D print in SolidWorks. Grab the 2D print on your computer, and you're going to begin modeling it in SolidWorks, and you're going to try to come up with the mass, and then you're going to enter that mass in the chat. So here we go, guys. This is your practice round. This is for Neil and Rafi. And remember, guys, when we show the 2D print, you're going to begin a new model. You're going to click File, New, or you could even just, start out with your screen, closed. You can have SolidWorks closed, or not SolidWorks closed. Have all your parts closed. You're going to start a new model. Okay, great. All right, so here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. So there's your model. What you're going to do is you're going to grab a screen capture of that model, and you're going to try to create that model in SolidWorks. And once I see that both of our competitors are going, I'm going to switch over to the CAD versus CAD screen. So here we go. It looks like they're both going. So let's go over to CAD versus CAD, and look how fast these guys are creating this model. And then once you create that model, you're going to grab the mass of that model, and you're going to enter that mass in the chat in YouTube, and whoever comes up with the mass first for this incredibly difficult model. What do you think, James? How would you model this one?
I think I would start exactly like they did. Get that circle out of the way and then extrude it up.
I think it's a solid strategy,
I think it is, yes, sir.
Okay, we got Tom Smith in the chat cheating. He's not supposed to be entering, but because he is a competitor today, we're going to allow it, okay? All right, great. So we see that Tom Smith was able to enter that in the chat. We see that Rafi was able to enter that in the chat. And we're just going to make sure that Neil is able to enter that in the chat as well. Very fast, these guys. Very, very fast.
Yeah. Yeah, they were going quick.
Yeah. It's a little more difficult, too, when you got this, this absurd screen resolution. Okay, cool. And Neil is in the chat. All right, excellent. So everybody was able to answer in the chat. I know that the answers were there's a little bit of variance on these answers, but that's okay. I'm not so worried about that. I just wanted to make sure that our runners had the basic logistics down. So I'm going to switch back over to our PowerPoint here. Let's learn a little bit about our competitors today. And while we're learning about them, I'm going to just take a moment and make sure that we're all set up for this. But nicely done, guys. You guys can go back to having a blank SolidWorks screen so that you'll be ready to start a new document. And Neil is actually one of the longest-running SolidWorks users that I've ever met and that a lot of people have ever heard of. He started using SolidWorks back in '96 beta. So, wow. That is definitely takes a cake for at least for my household, definitely. When did you start using the software, James?
I started in about 2013.
2013. Wow, almost 10 years.
Yeah, getting close.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Okay, and
but Neil there started when I was about 3 years old. So.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Cool, man. That's a little too much math for me to do this early in the morning. So we can see that Neil also has placed first, second, and third in Model Mania. That's the worldwide contest that is held at SolidWorks World every year. So Neil has some experience in speed modeling. And over on the other side, on the right side, we've got Rafi. He started using SolidWorks in 2016, so just a couple years after you, and he loves to travel. You done any traveling, James?
Not much. I would love to. You talk about going to Bangladesh. I'd love to travel outside of the United States. I've never done that.
Yeah, like I said, you and me, we're gonna have to plan that tour together.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Well, I think these guys are ready. I think that I'm ready. Actually, let me just check one last thing here real quick. Okay, and yes, I am ready. I'm not sure if I'm ready, but I think I am ready. I'm never sure. All right, so here we go, guys. I hope you guys are ready. I know you're probably a little bit nervous on this. Let me get to our challenge here. The challenge is going to go live. Let me switch over to full screen. And as soon as I show the 2D print, our competitors are going to begin modeling, and we're gonna see how fast they are. And if you want to join with at home, you can take a screen capture also. Just don't enter the mass in the chat. Today, it's all about these guys. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. The challenge is now live. So what is the mass of this part in 0.xxx pounds? Wow, this is an IPS part. I know that last week everyone was saying you need more parts in inches. Everybody loves inches. So I decided to start out today with a drawing in inches, apparently. So what is the mass of this part in 0.xxx pounds? There is a tolerance of plus or minus 0.001 pounds. It looks like both of our competitors are running, so let's flip over and see where they're going to start with a model like this. So what is the mass of this part in what was it again? Something dot something. Here we go. 0.xxx pounds. What do you think about this one, James? Where would you start on a model like this? Actually, wait. I'm going to save that question for after because I don't want to influence our runners here. Yeah.
I was about to say, like, maybe I shouldn't answer that quite yet.
Yeah. Let's see where they're starting. So it looks
like they're both starting about the same spot.
Yeah, what do you think about that strategy? Looks like they're both starting kind of on the top. Looked like it was the top plane for both of them, going through and creating. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm incorrect. It looks like Neil started on the top plane, but it looks like Rafi chose to start on the side plane. I like that.
Look at it again. I think they're both on the side plane now.
Yeah. Look at me. I don't even know like what the difference is between the top plane and the side plane. I don't know why I'm doing this co-commentary.
I definitely thought they were both on the top plane in the beginning too.
Okay. Well, let's see what happens here. I like both approaches here. You know, I'm definitely more in the camp that Neil is in, where I do kind of one feature at a time. But I got to tell you, watching last week and seeing how 5lax was able to take advantage of that kind of layout approach is pretty impressive. And I like the way Rafi's doing this as well, kind of getting as much information as he can into one sketch and going from there. So I guess we'll find out in just a few moments which method is superior.
Yeah, I guess we will. Yeah, I don't really use the multiple things in one sketch very much either. But maybe it'll pay off. Hopefully it'll pay off, right?
Yeah. I like the way that they're both just kind of methodically going around. You gotta start out with your strategy, right? How am I gonna create these features? And then you gotta start going around and start adding dimensions. And what we see in SolidWorks, if you haven't used SolidWorks before, is as you're adding these dimensions and these relationships, the sketch colors change from blue to black. And that's what you're going for. You're going for that black color. That's indicating that the geometry is going to be predictable. It's going to be locked down. It's going to be reliable when you go to make changes. You know, that's really what you're looking for in a parametric modeler like SolidWorks.
Gotta fully define every time.
Got to fully define every time, yeah. There's a song in there somewhere, that's for sure.
Somewhere, yeah.
And so you can see that on Rafi's screen, you know, at first it started out everything was blue, and it was like, well, where's he going with this? But now look how quickly everything was able to change to black, and now he's got this wonderful layout, all the geometry. Now it's just a matter of kind of putting the puzzle together and figuring out, you know, how these sketches are going to be used in a solid. How are we going to end up getting to that final shape that we're seeing in the middle of the screen there? And over on the left, we see that Neil is also using that contour selection technique where you're able to get in there and have one single sketch that maybe has multiple closed contours, but you're able to select which contour you want. We see the same thing over on the right. We see that Rafi is doing the same thing. Now, Rafi's using the technique called shared sketch, where you can have that one single sketch, but you're able to extrude it out to different depths in order to get the end result. Like I said, it's almost like a layout type technique, and I can definitely get on board with that. I do use layouts a lot in SolidWorks, whether it's in complex part design or whether it's in assembly design.
Yeah, I mean they're both using a bit of shared sketch, but like you said, you know, Rafi did it everything in the first sketch, whereas Neil decided to do that big base flange or that big base part as one, and then do the two other features that are the kind of share a plane as a separate sketch. So
now, I think it's so interesting that they did both kind of start with a slightly different technique, a slightly different starting point, but now we see they're both kind of coming down the finish line here with these, you know, these holes. It's like they're almost on the exact same sketch at the exact same time. It's
Yeah, they're really close, really close.
yeah, pretty wild. And so it looks like what we see here, you know, what this challenge is can you come up with the correct mass for these models? And so what we see is that Neil is attempting to do just that, trying to come up with the correct mass here, running it through a quick calculation. And I think we're going to see that in the chat here. Okay, so Neil, it looks like Neil dropped into the chat there. Neil, I'm going to give you a mulligan on that. I think you were calculating that in kilograms. I think we're looking for that in pounds. If I was trying to pay attention to your mass properties when that screen came up. And Rafi, on your side, don't forget when you are submitting that, give me that in 3 places. We're looking for that answer in 3 places. Okay, so Neil has come in with an answer of 0.534 pounds. That is not correct. That is not correct, Neil. So you get one more chance to go through your model, look at your dimensions. I do believe that I see the mistake on your screen for what it's worth. I think I did see it as it was happening. So go through your screen, take a look at all your dimensions, make sure you got all your dimensions correct. And Rafi, just make sure that just make sure you submit your answer in 3 places, not 2 places. Okay, and that's going to be it. That is correct. So the correct answer that I came up with was 0.491 pounds, but I did have a plus or minus tolerance on the print, on that original print in full screen of 0.001. So Rafi, you are within that tolerance, 0.490, and I'm very glad that ended up going the way it went, because I know that I said there that you had to change over your answer to 3 places, and I was like, oh shit, 0.490 is actually within spec. So nicely done. Nicely done. I was very happy with that. Guys, give Rafi a GG in the chat. Rafi did get it correct. Neil, on your screen right now, I believe that the issue is that upper boss is a different width than that lower boss, if I remember correctly. Wait, let me go back to the print. Yeah, that lower boss is 1 inch, and that upper boss is 0.75. So I think that was what the issue was on yours. Nicely done, though, to both of our competitors. Here you can see, yeah, I have that tolerance of 0.001 on that print, and 0.490 is, in fact, within spec. So very nicely done. GG, Rafi. And that's going to give Rafi a win on this challenge. So very nicely done, Rafi. Everybody give Rafi a GG in the chat. I see the GGs coming in. Nice, nice, nice. Let's learn a little bit more about our competitors here. We got our good friend Neil, started using SolidWorks in 96 beta, plays first, second, and third, and Model Mania. Plays bass guitar. Wow, that's what I do too. I got a bass guitar back there, and I got another one back there. So he's used SolidWorks for a long time. He's placed in Model Mania. He plays bass guitar. This guy's like my exact doppelganger. I mean, the only thing that's missing really here is poker. Oh, and he plays poker at least 4 hours a day. Wow. So, man, Neil, you and I are like kindred spirits here. I like it. I even, you ever read this book before, James? Super System?
I have not, no.
It's all about fully defining your sketches in SolidWorks every time. It's a great book. Highly recommend.
It's awesome.
And we can see over here on Rafi's side, Rafi started using SolidWorks in 2016. He loves to travel. He watches a lot of anime, and he loves design competitions. Well, you are in the right place. Nico Concarne says, who's the author in the chat? Oh, who's the author of that book? It's not really about sketching. It's about poker. The author is Doyle Brunson. Let's see here. Did the same. I have 3. Okay. I'm not going to get distracted by the chat. James, I'm going to let you get distracted by the chat and interact with them.
Get distracted by the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna get ready for our next matchup here.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
What'd you think about that last matchup?
Yeah, that was a close one. It was very close. They both started off really strong. Both started off kind of similar, but a little bit different. Yeah, it was a good one. Both of them did really good. Like you said, I'm glad glad that tolerance didn't come out the back in
That would have
the
been
opposite direction.
if Neil would have jammed a 0.491 in there right when I was thinking about, like, I was like, oh no, I would have felt so bad for Rafi. So try to remember to answer in the specified precision, and I'll try to remember not to screw up in the future. Okay, one last thing here, and then I think we are good to go. All right, guys, we're good to go.
Table 6 is thinking about, or table 3-6 thinking about getting a guitar as a midlife crisis. What do you think, Toby?
Oh yeah, do it, bro. Do it. If you got the right now, if you got the money, especially, it seems like a lot of times when you get older, you have the money, you don't have the time. When you're a youngster playing in bands, and James, as a fellow band member who's played in as a youngster, this. You never have the money. You have all the time in the world, but you never have the money. Then you get older, and then you have the money, but you don't have the time. So you end up like getting gear that you probably don't even really need.
And that's the truth with any of my hobbies. If I have the time, I don't have the money, or vice versa.
Yeah. Maybe there's something to that, right? That's what keeps you passionate. All right, guys. Well, speaking of passion, these guys are passionate about getting into the next round of this tournament. So let's flip over to full screen. And here we go. The challenge is ready to go live. Don't forget, we're going to start a new part once we say 3, 2, 1, go. So you can close out of that template window, Rafi. We're gonna all choose new together. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go. What is the mass of this part in xxx.x grams? Tolerance is plus or minus 0.1 grams. And you can see here that our unit system is mmgs. Our material is 1060 alloy with a density of 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter. This is called L-stop. And I think this one is going to be awesome to watch. So our competitors are already jumping right into this thing. Let's flip over and see how they're doing. So we got the L-stop here. And we see that Neil looks like he's starting out by going in and adding in the material. But Rafi,
I was gonna say the same thing.
Rafi just jumps right in. He's like, no, I'm ready. Let's make this thing. He comes up with a plan. He starts drawing it up. I like it.
I didn't see Rafi go and choose it, but he's already got that 1060 alloy chosen.
Maybe there's something going on with templates or something like that.
Maybe,
it's a great way to save time, both in speed modeling and in the real world. Rafi's asking to show the image again. No problem, Rafi. There you go. Make sure you grab a screen capture of that. Forge Master TV says, that's a fairly complex part for speed modeling. Good luck. There you go, Rafi. Rafi says, forgot to grab the image. Okay, got to make sure we grab that image.
He was too excited.
Yep, that's all right.
Excited to get started.
Came up with a plan and got going. But that's, that's what I like about, we were talking about poker earlier and how Neil is into poker. That's what I like about these challenges. A lot like poker. Whenever you do any kind of a heads up, a person versus person challenge, there's going to be an element of luck, and Neil just got kind of a lucky break there, and Rafi got an unlucky break there by not capturing that picture. And so now it's just a matter of capitalizing on it.
Yes, sir. It looks like Neil's taking a similar approach as last time, where he did that main base feature, and then he's adding his other features in after.
Yeah, like I said, I like that approach. But I gotta say, on the right, we see that Rafi is going through and doing this layout again, and going through and getting all his sketches fully defined. And between Rafi and 5 Lax last week, I mean, these guys are just putting on a clinic as far as techniques for. Wait! Look at Neil. He's using delete face, one of my favorite commands in SolidWorks. Oh yeah, he gets bonus points. +1 in the chat if you guys like delete face. Anytime I see somebody using delete face, I get happy. And I see on the right, it looks like Rafi is maybe hitting a stumbling point there, or not sure what's going on. I hope he's okay. If that's maybe he's just coming up with the plan for this design.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he was looking for a dimension. He couldn't find a dimension. I see you know, you got to always fully define your sketches, right? So he's probably just looking for that dimension.
Just stopping and thinking.
Yep, it's all good. Sometimes that's you know, that's what ends up giving you that extra edge later on in the model, because then you're like, oh, I know how to handle this. I was ready for this one. Kind of like what Neil did with that delete face, right? He was just ready for it.
Yeah, he's definitely had some experience with that move, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, you can tell. Yeah, that's a pro move right there for sure. That's something you don't get to start using that move until you cross over, you know, 20, 25 years with the software. So we see on the left, Neil is just, you know, again, kind of sticking to his methodology, you know, getting one feature at a time in, going through, making sure it's fully defined, keeping his sketches simple. That's a technique I can definitely get behind. And I think that's, pardon the pun, a solid technique.
That was a good pun.
Thank you.
Pardon that one.
Yeah. We'll have some more in here at some point, I'm sure. Look at this. Both guys started at completely different spots, and yet here they are doing almost the exact same feature at exactly the same time, in the same way, from the same view. This is the kind of stuff that, you know, I just think it's so interesting.
Crazy how that works.
Yeah. Like Neil going through, and you know, it's just like we talked about earlier. The sketch geometry starts out blue, and then as you go through and you add geometry to it, you end up getting your sketches to become black. Always a good technique. And we see Rafi going through and just trying to figure out what's going on with this boss. It looked like he maybe was struggling with one of the dimensions in that tombstone shape on the right, and now he's kind of getting in and trying to figure out how to finalize that strategy.
They're both good, doing good, moving quick.
Yeah, it looks like they're both getting to that point of having that front curve. And that there's that, it's kind of like a
that curved slide.
Exactly, yeah.
Getting there.
Yep. And one of the comments that came in, I think it was from Forge Master. I read that earlier. Said this is a fairly complex part for speed modeling. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, some of them you're going to see. Some of these models are a little simpler. You know, a few less features. Some of them have a few more features. But it's all about the variety, and again, it's because it's one person versus one person. That's what makes this kind of cool, is that they can be, you know, different levels of complexity, because it's not like two different people are getting two different models. You know, it's the same people that are ending up with these models. So it looks like over on the left there, Neil is kind of going for that final spin, looking to see if he's happy with what he's looking at. And we're looking for this answer in grams.
Oh, I was about to say, it looks like Rafi's having trouble defining, but not what I was going to say. It all turned black.
So Neil came in with an answer of 500.9 grams. That is incorrect, Neil. That is incorrect. So you want to keep going. You got the correct precision, but I'm looking at my answer here, and that is incorrect and not within the tolerance spec. So there's definitely at least, I'll tell you, there's definitely at least one feature that is. I don't want to give any hints. Just gonna let them look at the print, see if there's anything that you feel like maybe went awry. I'll say. It's so hard to use words and not actually give away what's going on.
Yeah.
Looks like BJH Barry in the chat, old friend of the show, noticing that Neil's template has renamed planes and has some axes ready to go. So I like that.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
And Tamborora Station, yeah, I'm going to circle back to that comment at the end. I noticed that as well, though, for sure.
Yeah, I had that same thought and didn't say anything
Yeah,
either.
I'm not convinced that that's the issue, but you know, there is an issue. So Neil's just he's doing that final spin, you know, trying to figure out what's going on, figure out if maybe he missed anything.
Probably trying to hesitate a little bit since he knows he only has one answer, one
Exactly.
guess left.
Exactly.
Looks like Rafi is going back to his original sketch and editing a little bit.
Yep. And Neil coming in with the answer 0. Sorry. Neil coming in with the answer 499.2 grams. That is the correct answer. Nicely done, Neil. Very, very nicely done. So let's give a GG to Neil. Neil gets a win up here as well. So we got Rafi with 1 win and Neil with 1 win. You can see the little green dots up at the top there for the wins. So very nicely done. GG to Neil. Wow. And yeah, a couple of comments there about Neil using the Ivan exploit in a couple of spots. So there were a couple of spots where I saw him using it. And, you know, like I've mentioned before, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll try to put an angled face on the model so that the Ivan exploit won't work. But it looks like Neil was still able to get that and get it within specifications. So GG to Neil on that one. Nicely, nicely done. What do you think about that, James? You familiar with the Ivan exploit?
Yeah, I know what it is. I can't say
Okay.
I've ever used it. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, a little bit harder
Actually,
to use in production.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I think I learned it from you actually. It may have been one of your Monday Model Mania things.
Okay. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. All righty. Okay. Well, we're going to get our final setup going here for our final round. But wow, guys, nicely done. Nice little heads up match there. Good game to the winner. If everybody could please give Neil a GG in the chat. I see all the GGs coming in. Nicely done. Nicely done. And I think we are pretty much ready for the final matchup. Sudden death. These best of 3 matchups can get pretty intense when you go from one winner to the other, back and forth. All right, guys. No need to stand on ceremony here, right?
Neil says he always forgets the fillets.
Always forget. Yeah, I saw that at the end, Neil. I saw the. I was like, you could tell, James. I know you knew what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't want to give anybody an unfair advantage, so I try to just keep it calm, keep it calm. But yeah, that was exactly it. Was those fillets, and then I wasn't sure if the Ivan exploit was going to let you stay within spec or not. I guess it would have depended on how far those counter bores were out of spec, but I think they were close enough that you were able to sneak one through on me. So I got to work on my exploit protection a little more. All right, here we go, guys. Final challenge: sudden death. Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm always worried I'm going to pre-show it. All right, we are full screen. And we're going to show this print in 3, 2, 1, go. So here's the print. What is the mass of this part in, lots of numbers there, XXXXX grams. The tolerance is plus or minus 1 full gram. And let's get into it here. Be sure to grab a screen capture of that print. Move it over to your second monitor. If you want to play along with from home, go for it. It's great practice. And let's see how fast our competitors can do this. I see, looks like both of them are ready. So let me flip over to take a look at this part here. You can see both of our competitors are coming at this thing, getting their materials ready. Looks like Rafi's getting his material ready there too. This is the question is old as time, right, James? To begin with a revolve or with a boss?
Yeah.
It looks like they're
I
both.
was just thinking about how heavy that part was. That was a lot of X's.
Yes, yes, indeed, that was a lot of X's in grams, though, only in grams.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Sure, you and I together could lift that up. So you see here, whenever you have a part like this where you've got these different views. You have to decide what's going to be my starting plane, what's going to be my starting profile, how am I gonna get this thing into the best possible shape, and of course in production you also have to think about things like I want to be able to edit this part later. I want to be able to make changes. It's got to be used in a variety of product lines. These are all things you have to think about when you're trying to come up with a solution for a model like this. I see Rafi maybe changing it up a little bit.
Looks like Rafi's gonna go with the revolve.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like it. All techniques are welcome here.
I think Neil actually started with that lower, kind of smaller diameter piece. I was expecting him to start with the larger upper piece,
That's where you would have started, you think?
Yeah, I think that's where I would have started.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it depends on, if you're working from a print, how is the print originally dimensioned? And then I think, when you're working with a physical product, it's a lot of times the question is, how is this part going to be used in coordination with the other parts in the assembly? What's going to change? Oh, I like that. Neil using the offset from surface to calculate that top. That's definitely one that I've used before to save my brain having to do math.
For sure. He did that quick too. I almost missed it.
Mm-hmm. Another example, one of those tools that clearly he has used a few times before.
That's one he keeps in his toolbox, right?
yeah, exactly. So again, we get these sketches. We get them to go from blue to black so that they are fully constrained, fully defined. That's what lets us create these predictable models. And looks like Neil is sticking to his method, kind of one feature at a time, nice and simple geometry, keep the sketches simple, and just kind of going through and getting the geometry ultimately to the point that he needs it at. Let's see, is he going to roll the dice with the Ivan exploit again? That's the question. I wouldn't, not on this part. But, maybe I'm giving away too much by saying that. All right, yeah, here we go. I like this. Nice and fully defined. That's what we like.
This method Rafi uses with the multiple features in one sketch, and always looks like people that use that method are a little behind, and then they start extruding, or in this case revolving, and it's like, oh wait, no, he's right there with them.
Yeah, that's a great observation. That's definitely something I've seen as well. You end up, like just like what you said there. You're watching their screen, you're like, oh man, he's way behind, and then you look away for a second, you look back, you're like, oh, he's done with the model. Wow. All right, so I see Neil is creating these circles for the counterbores, but they look like they're in the wrong spot. How's he going to fix that, you think?
Yeah, I was just wondering the same thing.
Oh, I like that. In that cut extrude dialog box, he's using that offset function. Wow.
Yeah. I see, yeah.
Nice.
That way he had a smooth face to draw it on. That makes sense.
Yeah. Saved him having to make a plane or something. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that was slick.
And over on the right, we see Rafi coming in with that little slot area to come down from the top, get that area cleared out. I think on the left, we're going to see Neil doing the final spin here pretty soon. Make sure everything looks good.
Pulling up his mass properties now.
Yep.
See an answer in the chat soon.
Yep. Let's see if he got it right. Okay, and Neil came in with 10323, and that is spot on, the correct answer. Wow. So that's going to be it for that first matchup. Rafi very well done. Thank you so much for joining us for the tournament. Neil, GG, you're going to get the victory cat here. Victory is yours. Well done. Well done. Everybody give both Rafi and Neil a GG in the chat. Awesome job, guys. Awesome competition. Awesome matchups. And very impressive from both of our competitors. I know that it can be very nerve-wracking, but really, really nicely done. I see all the chat coming in. Good job. Good job. We got Mandy Shaner in the chat saying GG to Neil and Rafi. Love it. Love all the support here for our competitors. So nice job. James, what did you think about that matchup?
Man, that was a close one. They were neck and neck on all three of those parts.
Yeah, that was pretty darn intense. Man. Well, I think we're almost ready here for the next matchup. I hope that our next competitors are ready, that they are on board and all ready. And I know that we're going to be showing a different CAD system here for the first time. But again, I just want to say thanks so much to both of our runners. Great job to Rafi. Thank you so much for competing, and it was neck and neck the whole time, and it's always so cool to see these matchups where people are so close and like almost creating the same features at the same time. Very, very good stuff. So so Neil is going to move on to the next competition, and while I'm getting some of these slides and things set up, I just want to remind you guys, if you want to help the channel, if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to share and reshare. Join the mailing list. I see Rafi in my side chat here saying thanks for the great experience. So thank you, Rafi, a true gentleman. Appreciate it. And if you're out there, if you're watching this on YouTube, either in the recording or if you're watching it live, feel free to send in some super thanks or some super chat. Help support the channel, help support these tournaments. And I'll just leave that up on the screen here for just a moment and go through and start getting some stuff ready for the next round. James, what are your final thoughts on that previous matchup?
Man, it was a good one. It was close. I like to see, like you said, I like to see that it was almost like they were working on the same things at the same time at points. I enjoyed seeing the two different approaches. Just happens that Neil's tried and true, one feature at a time, come in for the clutch this time. But yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, well said. I think it's very interesting, and it's like I said, Neil and I seem to share a lot of similarities, and I think that's definitely the approach that I typically will migrate towards. But it can always go either way, and we saw it just like we saw last week. I mean, using that multi-contour approach can also be very, very time saving. So let's see what our next competitors end up doing. That's gonna give Neil the win in this one. Whoops, I have a precognition on this one. Let me flip back to my. Let's see, which one do I want to flip to? All right, well, that's gonna give Neil the win on this one. I mentioned this in the editor's notes. I know that I have I have Tom over here in this one on the right, and that's not meant to be like a prediction or anything like that. It just gives me easy control. In fact, I think what I'm gonna do just because I like trolling Tom a little bit here, I think I'm gonna actually change that winner to Smart, just because it'll make me smile. Sorry, Tom, it's gonna make me smile, so I'm gonna do it. Let me change that icon there. So I just have this set up so it's easy for me to quickly change this because we're doing all this stuff on the fly. Of course, I guess that all gets negated when I have to go in and make this change manually, and that's just how it is sometimes. All right, here we go. Let's get Smart in there. I'm going to give precognition, give Smart the win on this one. I think that's
Just going to have to change it back.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, so I'm able, in PowerPoint, I'm able just to right mouse button and quickly change out that icon, whoever advances. And so that's what I was able to do with Neil's picture there. And that's what I was able to do with Smart's picture there as well. But Smart hasn't won yet. This is what we're thinking the result is going to be. We're going to find out here in just a moment. Let's get into this mustard-colored bracket here, and our competitors are going to be none other than Tom Smith from the United States and Smart Colombian from the United States. Let's learn a little bit about these competitors here. We can see that Tom is building a 6 Degree of Freedom motion simulator designed in SolidWorks. Wow, that sounds pretty intense. And Smart is a design engineer who started a CNC machine shop and is releasing a new product October 15th at Philly Maker Faire. Wow, that's awesome, Smart. Maybe between the next couple of rounds, you can drop a link to that in the chat. I'm actually in Pennsylvania, so maybe I could even come down for that on the 15th. That's pretty cool. All right, guys, this is awesome. Tom's going to be using SolidWorks during this competition, and Smart is going to be using Onshape. So we're going to see a new CAD system in this one. Here we go. Let's flip over to full screen here. Make sure everything is ready. I think everything looks like it is ready here. And this challenge is going to go live in 3, 2, 1, go. There it is. You can see that this part is called, what is it called? Lever bracket. What is the mass of this part in XXX.X grams? Our competitors are grabbing a screen capture of this 2D print, and they're going to attempt to draw this, model this in 3D in the CAD package of their choice. The tolerance for this is plus or minus 0.1 grams. The material is 1060 alloy, which has a density of 2,700 kilograms per cubic meter. It looks like both of our competitors are now going live, so let's flip over to this CAD versus CAD showdown. And so we can see Tom is on the left. He is a certified SolidWorks expert and a drone racer. And we see Smart Colombian on the right, a CAD and CAM engineer running Onshape. So if you haven't seen Onshape before, this is your chance to see a different 3D CAD package and what the workflow looks like when you're working with a different 3D CAD package. And we see that these guys are both trying to come up with a way of creating this model. What is this thing going to look like? And James, I'm going to have you do the commentary here just for a moment. I got to just go grab something from the other room.
Yeah, you're good. You're good,
Thank
Toby.
you.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. It looks like we got two different approaches. I think I got my screens backwards from where Toby has them. It looks like Smart N is going with a side approach, whereas Tom Smith, using SolidWorks, is started with that top plane. Or started with that, yeah, he started with the top plane for that first initial feature. Moving along good though. Interested to see if anybody in the chat has ever used any other 3D CAD software. Like I said earlier, me myself, I've never touched any of the other ones. SolidWorks is the only one I've ever used.
Okay, and I'm back.
Cool.
Wow. So they both started out with that same kind of wedge shape, huh?
Yeah, but they took a little bit different approach. Tom did the top view of it, whereas Smart did a side view of it. But yeah, you're right. They did both start out with the same feature.
Okay. Top view, and then Tom added some draft, or cut extrude. Okay, I like it. And Smart, with Onshape, the thing about Onshape, you can't really see it in this overlay here, but it's running entirely in a browser. So this is a different solution that's a true browser-based 3D CAD solution, and still fully capable of competing in these challenges. So this is really cool to see a different CAD package here.
While you were gone, I asked chat if they had if any of them had used any other CAD packages other than SolidWorks. So we're getting a few answers in the chat here.
Oh, nice.
Said me myself, I've never used anything other than SolidWorks, so it's really interesting to see this.
Yeah, and we're gonna definitely have some other CAD packages here. Like I see, Tool Engage Key Creator Mexico is in the chat, and we're gonna see a CAD program called Key Creator in the tournament. He's gonna be in the tournament later, I think next month, and so we're gonna see another CAD package there. And of course, we have some Fusion 360 users in the tournament, and we have an Inventor user in the tournament. So we're gonna see quite the variety. I like how Tom Smith is choosing to use slots for everything. He's like, I'm just gonna just gonna be my tool now, just for everything.
Seems chat can't hear me very well. I don't know. Is my audio okay to you, Toby?
Yes, it is, but I'll see what I can do to get you a little bit louder here.
Yeah, I definitely went in at the beginning and tried to turn up my threshold, but wasn't really able to figure out how to do it. So.
All right, I'll see what I can do to boost. And let me just adjust this a little.
Looks like Tom's doing his final evolve.
Go ahead, keep talking, and we'll see.
Yeah.
See what
you're good.
Okay.
I guess chat tell us if it sounds any better.
Exactly. And Tom, oh wow, okay, and Tom came in with the answer. So Tom came in with the answer there. Apologize for looking away for a second, guys. The answer Tom came up with was 333.7, and that is the correct answer. So nicely done to Tom. Tom gets the win on that one. Very nicely done. And nicely done from Smart also. I really enjoyed seeing that technique from Smart. Barry and Steve are saying that the audio is much better. So awesome. So all systems are going properly. This is great. I love when everything comes together.
Yeah.
James, was that so that was kind of your first time seeing Onshape? Did anything about it surprise you?
No, not really surprising. Like I said, it's definitely interesting. You were talking about it being web browser based. I wonder, is there a desktop version or is it all web browser? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, it's all web browser. I'm sure that there's some Onshape users in the chat that can tell us. But as far as I know, it is all web based.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I did see that just like SolidWorks, the sketches turned blue and black for fully defined and not defined.
Yeah, that's always a good, good feedback when you're working in any CAD system is knowing when those sketches are fully locked down, fully defined. Yep. So let's continue to learn a little bit about our competitors here. Tom Smith building 6 Degree of Freedom motion simulator designed in SolidWorks to use with flight simulation programs. Okay, that's what he was building that for. And then the other thing about Tom is, let's see here, can make up some other fun facts for me. Okay. I guess that was in his fun facts. So I guess we can just make up some stuff about him. He's 6'6", and he is a jockey. He rides horses. All right, and Smart Colombian design engineer started a CNC shop and is releasing a new product on October 15th at the Philly Maker Faire, and is a martial artist and an artist. Oh, that's so cool, man. Smart, make sure that you drop a link to that Philly Maker Faire or any info about what you're doing in the chat. I'm going to take a second here and get our situation ready for the next matchup. So you have a little bit of time here before it's going to be time to go. And James, it looks like he answered your question there in the chat too. Andres answered your question.
Yeah, all web browser and even on the phone. That's kind of cool. That's pretty cool. I know. YouTube can't currently see the two competitor screens, but you got Tom actually showing a model of that flight simulator.
Oh yeah, we got to show that off a little bit,
cool,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let me switch back and we'll show that off just a little bit. So, look at that. That's pretty cool. Wow. He really he meant it. He really did design it in SolidWorks. He's just ready. He's like, here it is. Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Whoa.
Oh man. Yeah. That's
wow.
awesome.
That is so cool. Wow. I'm definitely gonna start going over to Tom's house more often.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Thanks for showing us that, Tom. Okay, let me make sure that I got this ready. Yep, that looks good. And then make sure that I got this ready. And I think we are ready to go for the second match of this best of 3 between our SolidWorks competitor and our Onshape competitor. So let me flip over to full screen here. And we're going to let this thing rip in 3, 2, 1. Go. All right, there's the part. So what is the mass of this part in XXXX grams? And we're going to have a tolerance here of plus or minus 1 gram. This is a crank mount. It's in plain carbon steel with 7,800 kilograms per cubic meter. Let's see what our competitors come up with. It looks like both competitors are starting. I'm always surprised by how quickly they're able to get that screen capture. So both competitors are going, and it looks like both competitors, once again, are starting with the same feature. That 80 millimeter and 40 millimeter circle looks like where they're going to start with this one. I think that's a pretty solid place to start.
Yeah.
And I like that on the right we can see that Smart went in and created a hole in approximately the appropriate location, and on the left Tom just dropped a hole out in space in some random location. He's like, I'll just put it over here. It's fine.
Both taking that same approach of doing multiple of the circles all on the first sketch.
Yeah. And you made that great observation a moment ago, James, that just like in SolidWorks and Onshape, as you're going through and adding all the required parameters to your sketches to make them predictable, they change from blue to black. And that's really valuable feedback, and it can definitely help you to understand if your model is going to be successful or if it's going to be problematic later on. So we see Smart going through here, getting all those holes laid out.
Tom's right behind him with it, not too far.
Yep. Sometimes these parts, they have critical measurements, like this one, that 150 that both Tom and Smart dropped on. They the customer said, we need these holes to be this distance apart from one another. This is where we're mounting to something else, so that becomes the critical dimension. And it's kind of awkward, I think, when you have a dimension like that.
And Tom going through and getting this shape done, that line arc line.
Mm-hmm.
Did that pretty flawlessly.
And Smart is taking a different approach to that same set of geometry, where he's creating this kind of full arc and then just tangent to get his geometry lined up. So I love that we're able to see both of those approaches. It looks like in Onshape, it's pretty easy to get in there and make those tangent arc type relationships. Look at that. Look how fast that sketch got cleaned up. Wow.
Yeah. Trim.
Yeah. So just a couple of blue lines still here, and we can see that Smart's going through and figuring out why they're blue and what needs to be done to change them to black. And there it is.
There it is.
All black on that sketch on the right. That's what we're always looking for, getting all of our geometry.
Right behind them.
Yep, exactly. So now it's a question of what can we do with that geometry. And here we can see they're deviating a little bit. We can see that Smart is going in and creating that kind of rim around the outside, that wall thickness pocket that's going around the outside, where Tom decided to go with a solid approach immediately, and it's going to kind of work out from there. Oh, interesting. So what Tom did was that's very interesting approach there. Kind of got that foundation and then came up with that side wall. It's I like that.
Yeah, that was slick for sure. Nothing smooth.
And then he looks like Tom on the left is going to reuse some of that sketch geometry from earlier in the design to create this boss coming out of the front of the model. I think that's that model there was a good example of kind of having a game plan to begin with. And then, you could tell Tom was pretty ready for that game plan.
Smart's going in and getting these fillets, go ahead and adding them in the sketch instead of making the model and then adding fillets in later.
And I see Tom submitted a mass there of 2017. That is incorrect. That is an incorrect answer, Tom. So I think you're going to want to just double check your geometry and see if there's anything that looks out of line with that geometry. That's going to open the window a little bit. Tom still has a chance to do a second incorrect answer, but that's going to open the window a little bit for Smart to come through and maybe
like he may have found his issue, had a dimension that needed added.
That initial sketch had that kind of weirdness. Okay, Tom Smith coming in with his second answer. And his last answer, if it's incorrect, but it is correct, 2004 is the correct answer. So very impressive from both of our competitors, but that one is going to go to Tom Smith as well. Very nicely done, Tom. And please give a GG to both our competitors. Smart, you crushed it there. It was awesome watching you work through that. It's really cool to be able to see a different CAD system other than SolidWorks in this tournament. And so I want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us during this tournament and for showing everybody that software. I hope that we'll see you in a future tournament. But great job to Tom, who's going to secure the win there. He's going to get the victory cat, and he's going to bring us home here at the end of this tournament by locking down that win. So great job, Tom. Great job to Smart as well. Thank you so much to both our competitors. Again, Smart, be sure to drop that link into the chat of the event that you're doing at that Maker Faire. Maybe we can get some people, local people out here to help support you. But thanks, you guys, so much. This was really awesome. I'm going to flip on back to that PowerPoint. Great job to both of the runners, and congratulations to everybody who ran today. Thank you so much to the people who ran in the first match, and also, of course, to Tom and to Smart, who ended up coming through and closing out the day with us here today. And that is going to more or less close out the day for us. So I just want to, again, remind everybody, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. We really are trying to put together a massive tournament here. A lot of work goes into this tournament, and it doesn't happen without the help of our amazing competitors. So great job to all four of our competitors, and thank you to Neil and to Rafi and to Tom and to Smart. Be sure to give them a GG in the chat. I want to remind you guys that next week we're going to do another matchup here with Victor and Tank and MAZ and Alnus. Really looking forward to that as well. I want to remind you to please help the channel by doing a like and subscribe, by sharing and resharing, by joining the mailing list over at TooTallToby.com. And if you're watching this in a video, you can send me in some super thanks. And if you're watching it live, you can send in some super chat. Always a good way to support the channel and support these tournaments. I want to say thank you so much to my very special co-commentator, James Letson, from the Alltech BHAM Swug Leader. James, this was awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite, Toby.
Well, you did a great job, and maybe we can do it again sometime in the future.
Yes, sir.
All right. Awesome. And, of course, I want to thank all of you, the most amazing chat ever. You guys are great. I look forward to seeing you again soon. We're not going to be doing Model Monday this Monday. I'm taking off this week. So next Model Monday will be on August 29th. If you want to join us for Model Monday Live, I'm going to go through and show you how I might solve or approach some of these challenges that we're doing in the tournament. But great job to everybody. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much to the competitors. Thank you so much to the chat. Thank you so much, James. And we will see everybody later.